so we can get cozy and comfy and talk about things. Okay. Hi guys. So today's video, obviously we're not filming in the same space that I always film in. Honestly, for the reason being, sometimes ideas just kind of like pop up into my head and I'm like, I don't want to forget the idea. So I just want to set up my camera really quick. We're actually in my room today. So yeah, and just talk about things, you know, and I don't want to miss a video upload, and I just want things to be kind of more free flowing, a little bit more personal with you guys. And so this idea just like came up in my head and I'm like, I'm just gonna film it. We're gonna sit, we're gonna chat about it. We're gonna chat about every single thing to do with not settling and why some of you are still settling in relationships in 2025. And we're talking specifically about this because I got quite a few DMs over on Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me, about this whole topic of settling in relationships or feeling like your relationship is just not for you anymore. And you're just feeling a lack within yourself over your relationship. And you know what? Like, what I can tell you is it's so normal to feel that way. Like, it's so normal to feel when you're in a relationship, especially if you're in a long-term relationship with someone, to feel this way. From my personal experience, when I dated my ex for 6 years, I started to get very codependent with that person. Like, it was to the point where me and that person were quite literally each other's like equals. Like, we couldn't do things without each other. I didn't really hang out with my friends as much because I wanted to hang out with this person. I felt such a need of codependency. And when you're codependent with your partner, a lot of the times what's going to happen is you are going to lose sight of your life. You're going to lose sight of the goals you have, the dreams you have, the things that you want to, you know, make happen for yourself. And that is exactly what happened to me. So in my long-term relationship, I would always feel in my gut, you know, y'all know that gut feeling, right? That gut feeling that comes up where you're like, should I be in this relationship? And I used to ask myself that question. I would feel bad about why I'm still in this relationship. I would be like, why am I choosing to stay in a relationship where I feel deep inside me that something is wrong? That just something is off and I can't really point my finger at it. And at this time, of course, I wasn't self-aware. I hadn't done the inner work. I wasn't as mature to understand where that was coming from. And to be honest, I didn't want to look at where that was coming from. A part of me was like, yo, it's so much easier for you to be in this relationship and to be with this person instead of being alone, which is the other side of it, and not being with a person at all and having to live with myself. Like, that was terrible for me. I did not want to be alone. I did not want to be with myself and love myself, which, you know, is so sad to say, but like, I feel like so many of us go through that, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship for a really long time and you feel like you've lost yourself in the process. The truth of it is when you and a person get into a relationship based on dependency and wanting to have that person fill a void for you, you to fill a void, and you don't have your separate lives and you don't understand that it's not two halves that make a whole, but it's two wholes that build a relationship, you are going to lose yourself in the process of that. And that's what happened to me. So many times in my previous relationship, I would sit with myself and be like, I really want to try to build that business, or I really want to try to be a YouTuber, or I really want to try to be a model. And so many times I would hold myself back because I was complacent in that relationship, because I felt like all my joy, all my love, all my care could only come from my partner and nobody else. And that is what leads you into complacency. It makes you lose sight of what your dreams are. You literally don't remember who you are as a person. You don't remember what you're aiming for in life. And that's where the danger of it comes from. The truth of it is, before we enter into any relationship, we have some sort of list, some sort of guidance of what we're looking for in a partner, right? We go, look, I'm looking for like these certain characteristics in a person, and I'm looking to date somebody that looks this type of way maybe. We have a certain list of things we're looking for. And the truth is, we have that list before we start dating someone. And then when we're dating someone, we never do a revaluation of if that person is still correct for us. And that's where we get it wrong. Because you do also need to consider throughout the relationship if you and that person are growing at the same pace, if you guys are growing in the same direction, or if this person just no longer meets what you want in a partner. And the reason we don't do this is because we get very comfortable. We get very comfortable in the relationship. We get very comfortable with the person that we're with, and we start to lose ourselves in the process. And when you lose yourself in the process, you mesh with the personality of your partner, and that leads to disaster. And it's so funny that I say this, and I know some of you watching this are probably like, I'm probably in that situation. But it has to be said, because the truth is, I personally don't know that many people that are in relationships that are genuinely happy in their relationships. Because all I can see from a person outside of it is, yes, there's love, yes, there's care, but there is so much codependency. There are so many people that don't have their separate lives and come together and form a partnership with their person. And I really wanted to stress this difference between a relationship and a partnership. A relationship is when you and that person are together and there's some sort of discrepancy between the levels and mindsets that you guys are in. So perhaps your partner is more advanced financially than you. Maybe they're more advanced maturely than you. Maybe you're more advanced. Maybe you have more communication skills than your partner, so on and so forth. But a partnership means you and your partner are equivalent. You have the same things to offer. You are both working together to build something together because you come there as equals, whether that's maturity levels, financial levels, etc., so on and so forth. Now, it doesn't have to be like the exact same thing because obviously that would be so boring, but it could be, very similar things and very similar things to offer. Let's be for real. Would you be with somebody that is making so much less than you? Would you really be with a person if they were broke and you were making like a certain amount of money a year? Would you really be with someone like that? Like, yes, love is great and yes, caring is great, but at the end of the day, like there will be so much missing in your relationship because of that discrepancy between the both of you. And the truth is, a lot of you out there are in relationships right now with people that you're genuinely settling for. You're genuinely settling for these people because you think that you're not going to get better, or you're too afraid of actually being single, processing life by yourself, and meeting somebody that's actually more in line with you. No, we cannot be doing that in 2025. Please stop. At the end of the day, if there is something in that person that you cannot deal with, whether that's salary, whether that's, their career, and guys, not to get personal about this, but this is actually one of the reasons why I broke up with my ex. I had a certain vision of what I wanted for my life. I had a certain vision of who I wanted to be with, what type of job that my partner would have. When my ex decided that they didn't want to pursue what they told me they were going to pursue anymore, I quite literally just realized, not to be shallow, okay? But I just realized that wasn't for me. It wasn't what I wanted for my life. And so I decided to just take a step back and understand that maybe that person's not for me, because the type of lifestyle that I would have had with that person was not something that I wanted for myself. And that is okay. So understand that if your standard is you don't want to be with a bum, why are you with a bum? Why are you with somebody that can't deliver to you the standard of life that you want, especially if you are already living that standard of life? The thing we don't understand as human beings is that you need to respect your partner. And you're not going to respect your partner if they are not to the standard that you need them to be at. And this is so clear because you can see it in so many relationships where, let's say the woman or the man is like, a very super achiever. They're making quite a lot of money. They're kind of stable financially, emotionally, physically, they have their life together, etc. And then their partner is an emotional wreck, an emotional mess, or they're financially not in place, or they just don't have stability in their life. The respect factor between those two people is not going to be the same. It's not going to be equivalent respect. And the truth is, you cannot build a relationship off no respect. Respect is one of the most important things when it comes to relationships because it builds the foundation of a successful partnership. If you respect your partner, you're less likely to cheat. You're less likely to be disloyal, do things that might be out of line in terms of the partnership that you're building. You're less likely to overstep boundaries. You're less likely to, do things that aren't conducive of a healthy relationship between you and your partner. But the truth is, we don't understand that. After years of being with a person, we're like, well, I've been with that person for so and so years. I'd rather just build with them. There's an emotional, financial, etc. investment in this person. And so I'm just going to stay with this person because it's easier. No, because that is going to pick up on you. One day you're going to look back at all of that and you're going to realize, I should have just left before. Because the deeper you go in with a person over time, the more difficult it is for you to leave that person. So the sooner you're able to become self-aware of what's happening in your relationship and the sooner you get out, the less likely you are to lose yourself in the process of that person. And the faster you can rebuild yourself if you have lost yourself in the process. And you also don't allow yourself to be strung along in a relationship that just doesn't serve you. Give yourself the opportunity to meet other people. Let yourself meet people that are more in line with you. And this is something I'm such a firm believer of because in my long-term relationship, I kept getting the sign, the sign that this person's probably not for me. I probably shouldn't be in this relationship. I probably should, leave and just honestly do my own thing and meet people that are more in line with me. But guess what I did? I stayed. I stayed because I was so comfortable, and it took literally the universe and God forcing me out of that situation for me to finally leave my ex-boyfriend. I'm not even joking when I say that. And the truth is, that's what's going to happen. If you don't willingly remove yourself from situations that don't serve you, the universe is going to push you out of those situations, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be an entertaining thing for you to be pushed out of a situation, because it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt so bad when you're kicked out of situations that you weren't ready for, that you're almost forced out of a situation that you weren't ready for. So keeping that in mind, I highly recommend that if you are in a situation like that right now, and you're really thinking about who you are as a person, if you've lost yourself, if you really want to be with your partner, maybe you've been with them for a while, but you just don't feel like this is the right relationship for you, or you just don't feel like you're unleashing your full potential by being with this person, understand that it's okay to be alone. And I know I've said this in so many of my videos, but like, you have to nail it, get it in your head that like, it's okay to be alone. There's nothing wrong with you choosing yourself. There's nothing wrong with you deciding to be by yourself and to cultivate a relationship with yourself. Actually, it's really good that you do that. Because if you do that and you cultivate that relationship with yourself and you learn more about yourself, you're going to become the partner that you want to attract in your life. And that's the key to it. If there's a specific kind of partner that you want in your life, you need to become that person so you can attract that person. Because the truth is, when you're going to meet that person, if you're not the person that's equivalent to them to build a partnership, they're not going to want you. Period. It has to be said, but that's the truth. So you need to be able to cultivate that within yourself. And once you finally do that and you finally put yourself in a position to have that type of life for you, then you'll attract the right person for you and have a partnership and not just a relationship with a ton of discrepancies. So all in all, this does boil down to self-respect. It does boil down to you having enough self-respect in yourself to recognize what's worth your time and what's not worth your time. And I know this video was a little cutthroat and was a little to the point of trying to help you understand this concept, but it had to be said, okay? Big sister advice over here. It had to be said. So I hope that this video gave you a little bit of clarity over, the current situation that you might be in, and understanding that it's okay if things are not going the way you want them to with this person. You will meet other people. You will have better love. Trust me, okay? When I had to break up with my partner of 6 years, okay, almost 6 years, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. That person was my whole entire world. And I'm not even joking when I say that. And it took so much out of me to leave that person and just come to terms that me and that person are not ever going to be together. It was so incredibly hard, but it was the right thing to do. And like I always say, if something is meant for you, there's nothing you can do to fuck it up. You need to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You need to understand that there are better things for you if you allow and accept that into your life. But it starts with you. It starts with you willingly choosing that path for yourself. And understand that, with the right support system, with yourself, and learning and cultivating that beautiful relationship with yourself, you'll be able to get through it. It's just a matter of having courage and having determination. And look, like I always say, it's not going to be easy. It's not a process that's easy. It's not a process where every single day you get better and every single day you feel a high. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the stock market. Like, there are days where you're very high and days where you're down, but over time, when you take a step back and you look at it from a whole perspective, it is all going upwards. And although it doesn't feel like it day by day, week by week, it is the result of what you're going through. So just understand that everything is going to be okay, but stop settling, okay? Get yourself out of situations that don't serve you, because what's going to happen is if you don't do that, you're going to be kicked out of those situations. Trust me, I swear to God, this is going to happen. So please make the right decisions for you, okay? Choose yourself first. Pick yourself first, because until you are not picking yourself and you're not being healthy within yourself, you cannot pick another person. So believe in yourself, understand that this process is not easy, but you can totally do it. There's so many things you've accomplished in your life, and you're going to do this too. So I hope that little pep talk gave you something to think about and made you understand that you're not alone, and this process is something that we all go through. We're all humans, we all go through this process, and it's completely normal. All right, so I believe in you. I know you can do it, and I'll see you next time.